The concept of zero-point energy. Do you think that there's something to there being some background energy of the universe that could be tapped for doing useful work?
I think that all matter is just the tip of the energy iceberg.
All matter is the tip of the energy iceberg. Yeah. Yeah, like matter, like energy is the underlying substrate that holds it all together or something, huh? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that it's just the matter. Everything, all the matter in the universe is just the tip of the energy iceberg.
Okay. Yeah, we're not even touching, as you said. Yeah. So in quantum physics, zero-point energy is recognized. The quantum fluctuations of the vacuum of space, and there's different models, different ways of looking at it, different mindsets. You know, this mindset that it's just a subatomic jiggling that remains when everything is at super frozen, cold, 0 degrees Celsius, and that's one model. And then on the other end of the spectrum of those worldviews is orgone or living energy of some sort. So, you know, there isn't even an agreement on what it is. And when some people say that zero-point energy is too small amount of power, it couldn't possibly run any appliances, well, maybe what they're talking about is the quantum fluctuations that are the effect of the cause. Just like wind power technology doesn't tap into the jiggling motion of leaves on a tree, it directly taps into the wind. So maybe, Tom Bearden is a physicist who I was asking about who might agree on some definition of all this, and he said that there is a difference between the understanding of zero-point energy and the understanding of what some people call the ether, even though it's not the old 19th century model of some fluid that's not moving. He said it's a very dynamic, constantly in motion background energy that seems to have certain waves, like vortexian motion. So there's that worldview, the ether, and then there's also the zero-point energy worldview. And anyway, Maury King, who wrote a book called Tapping Zero-Point Energy, says that that the two, in his worldview, are both the same definition, but he has a further challenge, is if you don't believe that there's this possibility, then explain what produces virtual particles. Okay, here's what, I was trying to remember what Tom Bearden had written to me about zero-point energy is the energy of real particles. It's observable energy. We can measure it with precise experiments. It is detectable with sufficient instruments. But however, the underlying vacuum fluctuations are subquantal, and quantum physics term, and hence not detectable by any instruments we have nowadays. We can only detect the overall effects. There's a PhD scientist in England, Harold Aston, who used to be the IBM patent office head in Europe. And he studied magnetism longer than anybody I know, and he extremely unusually open-minded physicist, and he looked at the stories and histories of these inventions that are so-called free energy, and found a common theme of concentric cylindrical charged capacitors and advanced magnetics. So did we see a picture of concentric cylindrical capacitors somewhere back there? And there's some other themes, maybe resonance circuits and certain shapes, geometries, electrostatics. The background energy of the universe seems to really prefer the spiraling, as you see in this chambered nautilus over in the corner there. I guess I'll have to move a little bit more quickly, but I think we're near the end here. Dan Davidson, Texas, wrote this book, Shape Power, which is really interesting for experimenters because he did a lot of experiments about how shapes actually have an effect on its background energy. And this is an old picture of Tom Pallone. He doesn't have red hair anymore. And he's going to be putting on a conference in Washington Hilton, I think it is, in October 9th, 10th, or something like that. Conference on future energy. So you might find that of interest this year. Oh, you go back. He was holding William Hyde's electrostatic device. The whole cold fusion field, we've got a chapter on that too. It's not dead, by no means. How many of you think that it is, has been proven to be bogus science, cold fusion?
Never.
I'm glad to see that nobody still holds that idea. Did any of you see that 60 Minutes program in March? Where this is a breakthrough in the media, actually, in that for the first time, major media actually did a positive treatment of this field that's called cold fusion. And they took a skeptic with all sorts of prestigious credentials over to Israel and had him test, and he had a few days just to talk to these scientists at this company called Energetics and do hands-on tests and ask him all sorts of questions and examine everything, and he came away saying, I didn't think I was going to say this, but he actually changed his mind about this field. And it's been the last few years that there have been U.S. Navy labs and others have put out papers that should have, the media should have jumped on a long time ago to say, oh, I guess when that was supposedly killed and buried back in 1989, it was really prematurely buried. Because scientists in labs around the world have replicated this Pons fusion effect and other variations of this cold fusion field. So what would that mean for us? Well, if they can commercialize something and we can have a source of clean, low-cost power for our greenhouses when we are going to need to grow our own food, and there's also heat our houses. There's all sorts of possibilities. It's not the most, I don't think it's the most powerful of all these technologies, but it's the one that, for some reason, well, not for some reason, it's the reasons why I drew a lot of academics with access to laboratories where they have a lot of equipment, and a lot of them had to work kind of moonlighting in their own day jobs and use the equipment in the back of the room when everybody had gone for the day because they couldn't get funding for their work. But they did it. They had a spirit that's somehow similar to what you have here. Let's just do it. Let's just get things done. Let's not let well, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have these resources. You don't let that stop you. I can tell. You guys just get out there and build, do hydroxy boosters, whatever you're doing. You're unstoppable.